There's something nobody tells you when you've been carrying too much for too long. Eventually, survival mode starts to feel normal. You wake up, move through the day, answer messages, solve problems, handle responsibilities, and repeat the cycle again tomorrow. From the outside, it may look like you're managing everything just fine. But deep down, there's a quiet exhaustion that never fully leaves. And the dangerous part is this. You can get so used to functioning in chaos that you stop noticing how disconnected you've become from yourself. You stop listening to your own thoughts because the world is louder. Notifications, expectations, deadlines, conversations, opinions, it all piles up until your inner voice becomes background noise. Little by little, you begin living entirely in response mode. Every moment becomes about reacting to stress, reacting to pressure, reacting to everyone else's needs. But when was the last time you paused long enough to hear what you needed? Not what would make other people comfortable, not what would keep everything running smoothly. I mean, honestly asking yourself, how am I doing beneath all of this? Most people avoid that question because they're afraid of the answer. Slowing down feels uncomfortable when your mind has been racing for months, maybe even years. Stillness can feel unfamiliar when you've built your identity around staying busy. But here's the truth. Constant motion does not always mean progress. Sometimes it's just distraction. Imagine trying to drive a car with the wheels out of alignment. You can keep pressing harder on the gas pedal, but the ride will still feel unstable. The harder you force it forward, the more exhausting the journey becomes. That's exactly what happens when your life moves faster than your spirit can keep up with. You don't need to push harder right now. You need to reconnect, because clarity doesn't appear in the middle of noise. It appears in moments of honesty, in silence, in pauses, in those rare moments where you stop performing and simply sit with yourself. And I know that sounds simple, maybe too simple, but the most important shifts in life usually are. You don't need a complete reset overnight. You don't need to disappear to a mountain or reinvent your entire life by tomorrow morning. Sometimes the first step back to yourself is incredibly small. 5 quiet minutes. One deep breath. One honest question. That's where real change begins. So today, I want you to try something different. Step away from the constant input for a little while. No scrolling, no music, no distractions filling every empty space. Just you. Sit somewhere quiet and let the silence settle. At first, your mind will probably resist it. You'll think about unfinished tasks, awkward conversations, responsibilities waiting for you later. That's normal. Let the thoughts pass without chasing them. Then ask yourself this. What has my mind and body been trying to tell me that I keep ignoring? Don't rush to answer it. Give yourself enough time for the surface level responses to fade away. Because the first answer usually comes from habit. The real answer comes later, after the noise settles. Maybe you'll realize you're tired in a way sleep can't fix. Maybe you'll admit you've been pretending to be okay because you didn't want to disappoint anyone. Maybe you'll recognize that you've been giving so much of yourself away that there's barely anything left for you. Or maybe, for the first time in a long time, you'll feel a small sense of peace return. Pay attention to that feeling. That calmness is not weakness. It's not laziness. It's your mind and body finally stepping out of survival mode. It's the part of you that has been waiting patiently for you to come back. Because underneath the pressure, underneath the overthinking, underneath the constant need to keep going, there is still a grounded version of you. A steady version. A clear version. It never disappeared. It just got buried under the noise. The world will always demand your attention. There will always be another problem to solve, another expectation to meet, another reason to stay distracted. If you wait for life to become perfectly quiet before reconnecting with yourself, you'll wait forever. You have to choose the pause intentionally. You have to return to yourself on purpose. And once you do, something changes. Your decisions become less desperate. Your mind becomes less crowded. You stop chasing validation from every direction because you finally feel anchored within yourself again. That doesn't mean life suddenly becomes easy. It means you stop letting every storm pull you away from who you are. A tree with deep roots still sways in heavy wind, but it doesn't collapse easily. Why? Because it's grounded. That's what you need right now. Not more speed, not more pressure, not more overthinking. You need grounding. You need to remember that your worth is not measured by how exhausted you are. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to check in with yourself before giving everything away to the world. So tonight, before you sleep, take a moment and come back to yourself. Not the version shaped by stress, not the version performing for everyone else. The real you beneath all the noise. Because when you reconnect with that person, everything else starts becoming clearer. And once you find your balance again, life stops feeling like something you're barely surviving and starts feeling like something you can finally move through with peace.